Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Hello, everybody. Today I have a book recommendation video for you. I know it's been quite a while since I've had one of those for you guys, but I do have one today, and it's got some great books in it. It's one of my favorite things. It's maybe it actually is my very favorite thing of why I read romance, and it is romances with yearning. And we're talking like the type of yearning where they just long for the other person. And I mean specifically the hero longing for the heroine. Like none of these are the heroine endlessly pining after the hero who doesn't know she exists. Like, I'm not here for that, right? Like, I want to read about the man yearning with his whole soul for the woman that he loves, right? So that's what these books are. I have some great recommendations for you. I have 10. Every single one of these is at least a 5-star read for me. Some of these are 6-star all-time favorite reads, so let's go ahead and get into it. So all of the books, the 10 that I'm going to mention, are adult romances, but I do want to mention 2 first that are very popular YA fantasy romances that I think perfectly embody the type of yearning that I'm talking about. And these are YA books that feel like they have great crossover appeal for adult readers as well. So if you like fantasy romance and you are looking for that element of yearning, I would highly recommend both Strange the Dreamer. This is a duology by Laini Taylor. Absolutely beautiful yearning in here, one of my all-time favorite books. And The Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. Both of those have beautiful yearning in here. Now, there are other things happening in there as well, so it's not just romance, but the yearning is worth it alone. Okay, so let's go ahead and move into the adult romances that I have to talk to you about today. So the first one that I want to recommend is a classic, and of course I had to have a book on here from my favorite author, my favorite historical romance author, and the one I picked is Seduce Me at Sunrise by Lisa Kleypas. Truly, I think so many Lisa Kleypas books fall into this category with the hero who just yearns and pines for the heroine. But honestly, I talk about some of my favorites so often that I thought I would talk about one I haven't talked about very much before, and that is Seduce Me at Sunrise. This is part of the Hathaway series. This features Kev, who is a Romani man who the family kind of adopted and he works for them as a servant, but they adopted him when he was very young, rescued him essentially, and he has grown up with the children in that family always having feelings for Wynn, who is one of the daughters, and he literally pines for her so much that it like makes me ache. I only read this book one time a few years ago, and I remember when I read it like just feeling like an ache in my chest because he pines for her so much. And he's also the type of hero who feels like he's not necessarily good enough for the heroine, and so there's a good bit of self-loathing in there. So if you like that in a hero, this is definitely going to be up your alley. This whole series, the Hathaway series, is beautiful, but the first and specifically this one have that element of yearning where he just feels like she is the one who's going to make his life complete. He needs to be with her. He loves and adores her, and he just thinks about her incessantly. Like, it's so beautiful. I really love this one a lot. So, okay, the next one that I have to talk about is a contemporary romance. This is another one of my favorites. I've talked about this one a lot, and it is Restore Me by JL Segars. This book is quite long, and it is quite steamy, but it is so freaking beautiful when you're talking about the yearning element in here, because we have Dom, our hero, who is Sloane, our heroine. It is her husband who has passed away, so she's a widow. It is her husband's best friend. Now, Dom and Sloane had a meeting before she ever met the man that she eventually married, and he felt like, this is the woman for me. Things happened in their life. They didn't end up working out at that point in time, and she marries his best friend, and this entire time the man has been yearning and pining for her. Like, it is so freaking beautiful. I love this book so much. The thing I really love about this book and the element of yearning that it has is how it has honestly given him years and years and years to think about and to dream about how he's going to treat her and what he's going to do with her when they meet. And it's just the stuff romances are made of. I adored this book. I thought it was fantastic, and I love that element of yearning. This one has top tier yearning and pining. Okay, so now this next one is another all-time favorite book of mine, and just thinking, this is another book, all of the books on here honestly kind of provoke a visceral reaction, like a physical reaction from me, but this one specifically just like moved me to tears by seeing how deeply they love each other and the element of yearning, and it is A Lady for a Duke. This book absolutely blew me away. First of all, it's beautifully written. This is about a Viola who served in the war, and when they finally get out of the war, Viola realizes that they no longer want to be who they have been presenting as, and they want to embrace their true self as Viola, a trans woman. At a time, this is historical romance, at a time when that was absolutely unacceptable, but she feels like she can no longer hide who she is. She wants to embrace who she is and accept herself fully. Now, the war had an effect on her best friend when they were growing up, Justin, the Duke of Gracewood, and Justin, is in so much grief that he has almost lost himself. So Viola and Justin end up reconnecting, and at first Justin doesn't know that that is his childhood friend. But when he does, it doesn't take the whole book for him to realize who Viola is. It is so beautiful, the way that he accepts her, the way that their romance blooms and develops, and how the yearning element in this is just so satisfying because both of them are yearning for each other, and it never has that element of like unrequited on one side, you know? I think sometimes when you talk about yearning, that is kind of an element of it. One of them feels like, oh, well, I want to be with her, I love her, but they don't even know I exist, or they don't feel the same way. This book had an element where they were both yearning and pining for each other and trying to find a way to be together. But the thing that I absolutely love about this, which is another thing that I always am on the lookout for in my romances, is the feeling of accepting someone for exactly who they are in this moment, and that is why you love them. That is why they're your person, is because of who they are. They don't have to change. They don't have to do anything to earn your love. That is beautifully exemplified in here, and I adore it. Like, as I was making this list, I was thinking, oh man, I want to reread all of these, but especially A Lady for a Duke. So phenomenal. Okay, this next one is a very popular one, but I feel like this author gets yearning right a lot of the time, and this one I think has the best example of yearning, and it is Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. This is part of her Twisted series. It's the last one. It is my personal favorite, and this is about Christian and Stella. So Christian is head of this big, like, security tech corporation, I believe. I'm not entirely sure what it is. It sounds like I didn't pay attention, but he's basically in charge of security, and he's a big, powerful, strong man. And Stella is a social media influencer with a huge, huge following and popularity. She ends up having someone who starts stalking her, and she requires the help of Christian, who lives in her apartment building, and he actually has had feelings for her for quite some time. So this book is very long, and I think that sometimes that is a very useful element in yearning, because then you can really draw it out, which I particularly like, and that was definitely what was happening here. We find moments of him just like thinking about her, dreaming about her, a very protective hero, like literally going to do anything for her. It is so absolutely amazing. I love the romance in here, but the way that this huge, powerful, violent man is so weak for her and yearns for her, and his thoughts of her are so like tender. It's perfect. It's fabulous. I love it so much. Okay, this next one is a classic, and I feel like this perfectly embodies yearning so well. I love and adore it. I've read it several times. It's one of my favorite books. It may be my favorite paranormal romance book, and it is Dark Needs at Night's Edge by Kresley Cole. So this is part of her Immortals After Dark series, which is a very long series of paranormal romances. We have vampires, werewolves, shifters, witches, demons. We have everything in here, right? So in this book we have Conrad, who is a vampire who has gone rogue. Like, he's basically kind of like gone berserk, mad. He is in chains. They take him to this they don't know that it's haunted, but this abandoned mansion that is haunted. And his brothers chain him up there because he cannot be trusted. He's not safe to be around. Now, the mansion is haunted by our heroine, Naomi, who is the ghost. She was a ballerina in life, and now she is a ghost, and she is haunting this building. And this is one of few ghost romances that I have read that I feel like ends perfectly. Perfectly. I love everything about this book, but I think sometimes when you go into like a ghost romance, you're like, how is this gonna work out unless Like, there are two ghosts. Like, are they both going to be ghosts? Like, anyway, I don't want to spoil anything, but I really loved how this ended because it felt very real and very conducive to a ghost romance and how it might work. Conrad ends up seeing Naomi, and he's, I think, the only one who can see her, and he feels this connection with her, and she is the only one who can kind of tame and control this madness, which is another favorite trope of mine. I love that so much. And he just goes absolutely feral for her, like obsessed with her, in love with her. There is a moment in here that lives in my head rent-free when she is in danger and Conrad can't get to her, and so he's like screaming her name. And it's just fabulous. It's just fabulous. I love this book so much. I think this whole series is very fun, very adventure-filled. Not all of them have moments that are deeply romantic. I feel like they're fun. They're great reads. I love them. This book is deeply romantic. I love it so much. So if you've tried Kresley Cole and you feel like maybe she's not for you, maybe because of that element, give this one a try. Because I guarantee you, you may become a Kresley Cole fan after this one. The next book that I have is Drinker of Ink. So this is a contemporary romance, but it's set in the 90s. I'm not calling that historical, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to. But I love and adore this book so much. It is beautifully written. It's told in a series of journal entries. Our heroine, Vivian, is in college across the country. Her parents live in New York, her mother is French, and her mother has cancer and is potentially dying. Or potentially healed. Vivian doesn't really know. Her parents don't give her a lot of updates because they want her to have the full experience of college and living life without worrying about what's happening with her mother back home. So Vivian feels very lost and adrift as she's at school. She's quite young, and she finds a lot of solace writing in her journal, and she really very effectively captures her daily feelings and emotions, not necessarily the minutiae of her life, but in a poetic and beautiful way of things she's feeling and experiencing. And one of those things, the key to this story, is her feelings for one of her professors, Peter. Peter is a Yugoslavian professor who is a poet as well, and he takes a keen interest in Vivian, not because she's young and beautiful, but because of her poetry. Like, that is the thing that captivates him the most about her, is how she writes and expresses herself, and he finds her so talented and he holds her in such high esteem, and he starts to have feelings for her that he kind of battles with, and he's not sure if he should or not, right? And most of this book is told in the journal entries of Vivian, so we don't see his point of view and his feelings about her until later on in the book. But I still feel like one of the most effective and brilliant things about this book is how Vivian, or how the author, uses Vivian's journal entries to write about the professor, Peter, in a way that Vivian doesn't feel certain about how he feels about her, but to the reader, it's very clear how he feels about her. Like, it's just so beautiful, deeply romantic. There is a good bit of suffering in here, but it ends happily, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And I think, you know, I said earlier, I don't think there are any, like, female instances of yearning. I think this would be the one, but it is equally reciprocated when you get to his journal entries and you see, oh, he's definitely been yearning for her for a very, very long time. So just a beautiful, beautiful book. Very underrated in my opinion. It needs more readers because it's fantastic. Okay, the next book is Tempting the Bride. I absolutely adore this book. Sherry Thomas is one of my favorite writers. She doesn't have a ton of historical romances. I think that she's writing historical mysteries right now, but some of my favorite historical romances have been written by her, and Tempting the Bride is one of them. I love this book. And when I say this book has an excellent yearning hero, I am not kidding. So this is about Helena and Viscount Hastings. We'll call his name is David. That's what Helena knows him. Helena and David were childhood friends, and David, for his part, has had feelings for Helena since they were children. He has carried a torch for her throughout adulthood, throughout teenagehood. He yearns for her in a very, very big way. She, however, never really sees him like that. They kind of have this teasing relationship, and I think that sometimes she finds him a little annoying at the way that he teases her. Anyway, at some point, she ends up in a compromising situation with an affair, and David kind of comes to the rescue to help absolve that. And then tragedy happens when Helena is in a carriage accident and gets amnesia and does not remember anything from her past life, including David or who he is. So if you like an amnesia romance, you absolutely have to read this one as well. So her recovering her memories or trying to build them again, she actually ends up falling in love with David. And it is so beautiful to see all of that happen, to see all of this yearning come to fruition when he gets to take care of her and have what he sees as a second chance. Absolutely beautiful. Peak historical romance. I love this book so much. Okay, the next one is The Right Move, which is a contemporary romance by Liz Tomforde. I adore this book. It is very popular. It was a bit of a booktube darling among romance readers, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I think this is one of the most romantic contemporary romances that I've read, and I think it's just perfect, pretty much. So this book follows Indy, our heroine, and Ryan. Indy is a flight attendant for a sports team, and she's in a serious committed relationship. She comes home from a trip to see that her boyfriend is sleeping with another woman. She's absolutely devastated. They were living together. She moves out, and she needs a place to live desperately. Her friend, who is the heroine from the first book, Stevie, says, hey, why don't you go stay with my brother for a while until you get on your feet? Her brother is Ryan Shea, who is, I think he's the captain of the NBA basketball team, newly appointed captain. And he's a big deal. He's an NBA star, he's a big deal, and he is a gentleman, like a perfect gentleman. Like, if you want a gentleman hero, you gotta read this for sure. So they end up living together, and it is a very slow build, slow burn, very realistic but deeply romantic way that they fall in love. And you get to see quite early on that Ryan has some very strong feelings for her. And I think that the yearning in here is very much expressed by small acts of service that he does for her, small gestures that say so much about how he feels about her. It's so beautiful, so romantic. I adore this book. Okay, the next one is a new one for me. This is a sci-fi romance, and it is Convergence by Etta Pierce. I absolutely adore this book. I thought it was perfectly handled. This is a really beautiful, slow burn, slow building romance with a great sci-fi world in here as well. This follows Olivia, who is our heroine. She is human, and she is like a criminal profiler, I believe. She has a good understanding of what makes humans tick, and that's her job. She ends up being abducted by some aliens and taken to their planet because she is a profiler, to try and help them get humans free who have been taken and kidnapped to go into alien sex trafficking, basically. Thel is our hero, and he is, I believe, a captain in the space military, maybe. He's a very powerful man, very stoic, very cold almost, but he is very open to moments of warmth with the heroine as well. And there is a phenomenon between the human and alien, or between like his alien race, when they meet their mate, that is called Convergence, that is really driving the force of this and driving them together, but the heroine really doesn't know what that is or if that's even happening. She likes him, she's attracted to him, and he feels very much the same way about her, but he kind of is a little standoffish. He doesn't rush into that because of Convergence taking place, and he doesn't want her to be forced into that if she doesn't want to. Meanwhile, his feelings for her continue to grow and grow and grow, to the point where this man is literally this alien. Like, he's literally almost about to burst out of his skin with how much he wants her and how much he feels for her. It's so beautiful. I love it. I love this book so much. The last one that I have is The Beast Takes a Bride by Julie Ann Long. I think in general, Julie Ann Long, in the Palace of Rogues series specifically, does a really good job of building a feeling of yearning between specifically the hero and the heroine. And this book, I think, takes the cake for best used yearning in here. It's her most recent book in the series. You can read these out of order. You may be missing some context about like the Palace of Rogues and previous characters, but the romance on its own stands solidly. So this is about Alexandra and Magnus. So Alexandra is kind of forced into a marriage with Magnus 10 years previously to help her family not have financial ruin, right? So she believed herself to be in love with this other man at the time, and she really didn't, she knew she was going to do her duty and marry Magnus, but it wasn't where her heart was. Magnus, for his part, has pretty much gone for her from the first interaction that they have, which is detailed in the book. We get some really beautiful flashbacks in here. He's completely gone for her, completely head over heels for her, the entire time leading up to their marriage. Shortly after their marriage, something happens where there is a very big falling out and Magnus feels betrayed. And they separate. They don't live together. There's no marriage happening at all. It's a marriage in name only. And lo and behold, our heroine finds herself in Newgate. And so Magnus comes to rescue her, to get her out of jail. And he proposes that, hey, this can't happen. We're ruining my reputation. You were just in Newgate prison, so we need to fix this. We need to make everybody feel like we're one big happy married couple, and then we're going to permanently separate and you're going to go to a different country and I'm going to go along my merry way. Meanwhile, he still has feelings for her. Deep, deep feelings. And lo and behold, guess who else does? Our heroine. So this is a case of mutual yearning, mutual pining, with some deep miscommunication that is very realistic and very necessary, and it's not the type of miscommunication that feels forced at all. It feels like, man, I can see how that happened, and it sucks, but it creates that beautiful, like, angst and tension that makes a romance really compelling and readable for me. Oh my gosh, I loved it. I loved it. The resolution of this, when they finally work things out and they get together, is so beautiful. I adore this romance. It was one of my favorite books I read last year. It was in my top 10 romances. It's fantastic, and you must read it, so. All right, my friends, there you have it. Those are my top 10 recommendations for high-level yearning or pining. You have to check them out. Let me know if you have a book that you would add to this list, because I would love to check that out as well. And if you want to just leave me an emoji and let me know that you were here, I would love it if you leave me a ladybug emoji or a heart if you're on your phone and you can't find a ladybug, any color of heart. We'll do a red heart. Red heart or ladybug emoji. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see y'all in my next one.